press record on there. Oh god, this is all gonna fall over. Oh my god. Oh boy, okay. When was the last time you bought a DVD? This guy, yeah. In a world full of streaming services where you can basically watch any film you want, whenever you want, it doesn't make sense to buy DVDs, right? Well, I'm not only making this video to flex my admittedly pretty sweet collection, but also to discuss a pretty interesting phenomenon. Because DVDs still get produced today, but as the years go on, and each subsequent year that I buy a DVD, I get more weird looks from people as to why I wouldn't just watch it online. Why would I pay more effectively just for a physical version of it? And I'm willing to bet that 10 to 15 years down the line, DVDs will be gone. Just like how we phased out VHS tapes, pretty soon everyone will be switching to streaming. And while I still see a popular community around things like vinyls, they're very popular now, people like them for their retro nostalgicness, even CDs to an extent, I don't really see this at all with DVDs because they're just not as practical. And seemingly more importantly now, they're not nostalgic yet. Because for now at least, they are still here. So whilst they are, I'm going to make my case on why I love the dying language of DVDs. Reason number 1. Cool transition time. Wow. Let's use an example here. When you're browsing Netflix and you've been looking for a movie, perhaps you're with a group, how often do you end up looking for more than 20 or 30 minutes just trying to find a movie that you all want to watch? Especially if you're in a group, it seems to be more difficult to find everything you all want to watch, so it ends up wasting quite a lot of time. And although you might just think you're indecisive, this is actually down to a pretty well-known phenomenon called decision paralysis. And for all you falling asleep at the back of the class because this isn't a philosophical Minecraft video, this is where this can apply to you and your everyday life, so listen up. Decision paralysis is basically the idea that you're presented with so many different choices that your brain gets tired of trying to decide what to choose. Because it has so many options, it can't actually narrow it down to one thing that it wants to watch. And this makes sense, right? If you get shown 30 different films, you'd probably have a harder time picking your one favorite out of those 30 than if you were given 3 films and you had to decide your favorite out of those 3. And this effect is what causes these long periods of scrolling endlessly. But compare that to DVDs. There's no promotion of specific films or no trending sections in your catalog. The disc doesn't start automatically playing audio if you look at it too long. And it's not going to make you stress by saying it'll be gone from your cupboard in 2 weeks or something. You look at your DVDs and you pick one. That's as simple as it is. The simplicity of DVDs makes it a lot easier to choose one you want to watch rather than being basically bombarded with all these online colors and I sound so old. Because these services are designed to basically keep you on them as long as they can, right? So if they can make it a bit difficult to make you find what you want, it makes it a lot better for them, even though it wastes your time. All right, let's talk about point number 2. This is where a lot of you will come at me and say, oh, it's way more expensive to buy DVDs, and oh, $8.99, that's so expensive for a DVD. I can watch all the films I want on Netflix for that price a month. And to that I say, you're half right. In terms of the films argument, I would actually say it is cheaper to buy DVDs. And obviously it depends, right? But looking at the last month or even this whole year, I can count the number of films I've watched through Netflix or Amazon Prime or something. I've watched about 5 movies. And this will obviously vary from person to person, but I'd say that isn't great. If I were to buy brand new DVDs, yeah, it would cost me about £7 or £8 per DVD, which isn't great. And don't even get me started on Blu-ray. We're not talking about that in this video. But if I introduce you to a magical British chain store called Sex, yeah, that's how it's pronounced, I swear, I can suddenly buy 5 or 6 films at the same price as a Netflix subscription for a month. That's because all these DVDs are secondhand and therefore they're pretty cheap. I got Fight Club, all the Rocky films, Whiplash and Rain Man, literally for £1 or £1.50 each. That's for some of my favourite movies in existence to own forever. The one point I will happily give to streaming services though is TV shows. I would probably never buy a TV box set just because they are more expensive and a bit more inconvenient than obviously streaming services. You have all the episodes laid out, you can just flick between them super easily. You don't have to put a different disc in every 4 episodes. So I've been able to watch 5 whole seasons of Breaking Bad, my favourite show in existence, 77 episodes of Hajime no Ippo. More recently I've been able to watch Baby Reindeer, which is amazing by the way. All of that basically comes with the streaming service, so it is hard to argue against it. especially because some of these things are exclusive to streaming services that they're on, which obviously is an incentive for you to get into the service. But I do still think when we're talking just about films, I actually think it is still cheaper to buy physical films. By buying movies secondhand, I've been able to get a pretty huge collection of some really great films, ones that I'll be watching years and years down the line, for dirt cheap. Let's go ahead and hit you with point number 3. I've seen a lot of debate about owning digital media recently. For example, I have a Netflix account, but I don't own the films that I see on Netflix. I pay to have access to watch these films, but I don't actually own them in any capacity. For example, if, I don't know, hypothetically, I was password sharing with my grandparents and using the same Netflix account as them, and Netflix, suddenly had a crackdown on this and removed my account, I wouldn't really be able to stop them. I don't own anything that I'm watching. It's shown even more in the fact that a lot of these things on these services do come and go. They're there for a limited time, and they often scare you into watching them before they leave the streaming service. And these reasons show how temporary your ownership of digital things actually are. Meanwhile, I always know my complete collection of the Karate Kid movies, the original ones, by the way, with Daniel LaRusso, the true Karate Kid, not that karate toddler. Yeah, they'll always be waiting in my cupboard to be pulled out, blown the dust off them, and put in my PS4 for a good old crane-kicking marathon. I'm gonna be honest, I could probably talk about this all day, but I imagine you probably have the point by now. Even so, I'll rattle off some final points in a DVD Pros lightning round. DVD box art, DVD bonus features, no adverts, watching offline, watching in that car on a long ass journey, especially across the French border in the summer holidays, actual object permanence, and most importantly, having a sweet collection to boost your aura. To conclude, I'm not actually against streaming services. In my perfect utopian world, I watch all of the Karate Kid movies on DVD, then I go over to Netflix and watch all episodes of Cobra Kai, which is how many? 50 episodes. What? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is maybe don't sleep on DVDs. They're a great way to immortalize some of your favorite films. They're simple to watch anytime and anywhere. Anywhere you have your laptop and your DVD to laptop adapter and the DVD with you. Obviously, there is cons to this thing, just as there are pros to it, but I'll always be a fan. I feel like I should reward you if you stuck to the end, so I'll hit you quickly with my top 5 films of all time, no questions. Whiplash, Back to the Future, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Karate Kid 1, the original with Daniel LaRusso, not the karate toddler, and Shawshank Redemption. And of course, I'd be intrigued to hear your top 5, top 3, or just favorite movie in general in the comments below. But for now, thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks for stopping on this brief intermission in your life. And until next time, have a good one.